Can you give me an example of a food that's a vaccine?
You recognize?
Yes. University of California, Riverside has already perfected the ability to put human vaccines into our lettuce right now.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Also, tomatoes has the ability to do that also for UC Berkeley. And then Big Tobacco, RJ Reynolds and stuff has perfected the ability to put a human vaccine into tobacco products.
Would you like a schmuck and a pancake?
I think my video last week on Campbell's confused a lot of people. A lot of people walked away from that video thinking I was saying that we should boycott Campbell's, like it's actually a better alternative out there. I don't think y'all really realize, but I'll tell y'all again. Let's take a trip to our local grocery store and see exactly what have we been eating. What it look like, TV?
I am back. What it do, baby?
YouTube's own Varnell Hill.
Did you miss me?
Your very own spokesman for the Insidians, wear inside and wear comfortable.
They're so comfortable.
And I'm back with another one. And I was going through the comment section on that Campbell's video about the bioengineered and my man saying it was printer ink. And I noticed in the comment section, a lot of y'all was responding kind of like y'all didn't know who I was. And then I did the mental math on it. It was like, yeah, last year, this time, about the last time I did one of these food videos, I only had about 48,000 subscribers, and now we up over 160 something. So a lot of y'all don't know. Y'all don't know that my claim to fame pretty much when I came here was telling people to go natural and start trying to grow as much as they can on their own because
apples, tomatoes, wheat, and the corn, all the food is poison. Don't eat the food, it's poison food.
I had been telling y'all that since day one. And it was a little disturbing the way a lot of y'all was so shocked about all this bioengineered and how processed Campbell's soup was. So I'm gonna take a walk with y'all. We're gonna go to the supermarket together. And I'm just gonna point out to y'all exactly what y'all been eating. And I'm gonna warn you, here's your trigger warning early. If you are food ignorant, and you enjoy your bliss, because ignorance is bliss. If you food ignorant, ignorant is bliss. Because once you see these things and know these things, there's no turning back. So I'm letting you know now. If you don't want to know what you've been eating, you might as well sit this one out. But let's take a walk into the supermarket, man. When you walk into the supermarket or the grocery store, the first thing you see is the produce. So what exactly is going on with this produce?
Bro, look at y'all produce at the grocery store. Look what's under it. Boy, look at all that black mold with the fan blowing. The moldy water all on your shit. Boy, look, hey, rinse it down with the mold water. That's horrible.
No, don't like that.
Now you could be possibly thinking to yourself that that's just his nasty behind supermarket where he work at. That's not the supermarket where I work at. Okay, let's give the supermarket the benefit of the doubt. Let's say they are the cleanest supermarket in the history of mankind and you lift the covers off and it's shining under there. It's all stainless steel and it's all miraculously clean. What exactly is in that water that they're spraying on these fruits and vegetables out there? Is it just regular water?
You're not gonna believe this, but I now have confirmed proof that mist that's being sprayed on your organic fruits and vegetables at Sprouts is not water. It is Produce Max. Let me explain. About a month ago, someone sent me a DM telling me that Sprouts was using Produce Max on their organic fruits and vegetables and hiding the spraying system behind big signs. In case you don't know what Produce Max is, it is a product that's designed to extend the shelf life of your produce. And its main ingredient is chlorine. So I had to see for myself. So I went to my local Sprouts, and there it was, a big sign right above the organic produce, just like she described. Then I called that same store, spoke to the produce manager, and explained to her that I am sure you guys are using Produce Max. She confirmed to me that the fruits and vegetables that are being washed in the back do use Produce Max, but she was not sure what was being misted because the mister is upstairs. So she went and she checked, and she then confirmed to me that yes, Produce Max is what is being misted on your organic fruits and vegetables. This is not transparency. This is misleading. And most shoppers have no idea. So if you're buying organic to avoid synthetic chemicals, preservatives, or unnecessary treatments, this matters.
The real question is, forget Sprouts. How many other supermarkets are using Produce Max? Do you know that you're getting, small trace amounts of chlorine on your fresh produce when you buy organic? I didn't know that. And one thing that everybody need to take note of, if your fruit or your vegetables don't have seeds, it's not a fruit or a vegetable.
Why do you think they take the seeds out of grapes? Ask yourself that one though. The reason why they take the seeds out of grapes is because seeds contain B17. Research B17, I'm not going to say the C word, but they're full of nitrilicides. And these are the things that in your cell can't allow that seed to exist. That's why all grapes now are seedless. You must get seeded grapes, not seedless grapes, and chew down the seeds and swallow them. Don't spit out the seeds, because if a fruit doesn't have seeds and it can't create new life itself, it can't create new life in you, and you're not going to get good cellular growth. It's just sugar. So seeded grapes, go and research it, do the research, thank me later. Love from Barbados.
Ashay, hey, let me show y'all something right quick. I don't know if you knew, but when you got 4 butts on the bell pepper, that's female. 3 is male. 3 male. 4 female.
When was the last time somebody out there had an apple? When was the last time you went to the supermarket, bought you a nice, pretty, shiny apple, took it home, washed that thing off, and when you was washing that thing off, the water was beating on it all crazy. Then you ate the apple, and the apple was delicious, maybe, but something slightly was off about the apple. Every apple that I have gotten over the past 5 to 10 years, something has been slightly off, and I wasn't able to put my finger on it until now.
So I'm going to teach you and show you that your fruit has coatings on it, what those coatings could be, and how you can get them off. Follow and turn on post notifications. All your fruit has a coating on it. It could be one of several things. So you see as it starts to come off, it's going to be some form of a wax.
All right. So here's what you want to look for. Well, here's what you make sure you don't want to see on your apple. When you have a 4 there, that means it's covered and coated in pesticides, and it's covered with a wax. So every time you eat an apple, you're eating a layer of wax and plastic that's around the apple. Only get your food that starts with a 9, not a 4.
So it could be a hydrocarbon wax, a derivative from the oil industry, or it could be a carnauba wax on organic fruit that's made from a palm leaf, or my favorite is the shellac or the excrete of the lac bug. Oh yes, sometimes I just like to take the bug poop and grind it up and put it on my fruit. The problem with this stuff is we tried to melt this off. So if this is just wax, it'll melt right off. So we put these apples in the oven and tried to melt them all, the wax off. But what we found was this wax doesn't melt till over 200 degrees. So we cooked the apples instead of getting the wax off. You can't wash it off with hot water. You really can't scrub it off. Hydrocarbon-based wax, obviously you don't want to be eating oil products. Even the shellac bug extract and the carnauba wax, not really part of your daily diet. So we want to try to get those off. So even if you eat this, it's non-digestible. So it's probably just going to go straight through you. Baking soda and acid. So you either need a vinegar or a lime juice, or you need something acidic and baking soda to get the coating off of your fruit so that you're not consuming all this wax. Now, why do they put these coatings on the fruit? One, don't they look so beautiful and so shiny? Because as Americans, we only like the shining fruits. And then also it kind of just helps them hold the flavor a little bit longer. But the other thing it does, and you'll see that the waxes are really a lot heavier here on top. There's fungicides in a lot of these waxes, especially if you're buying non-organic. We're going to put a fungicide in here that'll help keep these fruits from spoiling or molding to extend their shelf life. As you know, we like to buy apples 365 days a year, even though apple season in Washington is only a couple of months a year. So you got to preserve them and bring you beautiful apples year round.
I knew the outsides of them things was feeling crazy. They covered with wax. And even if you go to the expensive supermarkets, the Whole Foods and places like that, it's the same game. They doing it with all the apples.
Cannot believe Whole Foods is doing this with their food now. We may need to boycott. All right, you see this disclaimer? There's like 30 different produce tables here, but this is hidden all the way over here. Like you have to actually go and find it. Some fruits and vegetables arrive in our stores coated with wax. What I actually have a serious problem with is these synthetic waxes they're using, polyethylene, naphtha, paraffin, and mineral oil. Polyethylene is like basically putting microplastics on your fruit. These others are all petroleum based, fossil fuel. Here's what you're going to want to do. Number one, always buy organic produce for the fruits and vegetables that are going to have the skin exposed, like apples and cucumbers. Number two, always wash your produce in a solution like water and vinegar or water and baking soda. Number three, you can peel the skin. How you doing? We need to be realistic about this. Buying any fruit and vegetable, even if it has a wax coating, is going to be way better than any ultra-processed food.
Or not.
You're going to notice throughout this whole video is that the items that's supposed to be the freshest, in order for them to get it to you fresh, they got to manipulate it so much that they take fresh and turn it into deadly and turn it into...
All right, guys. So I was going to juice some limes today because limes are ultra healing, if you didn't know. And here's an example of, these were all on the ground at my lime tree. You can see here. This is a key lime tree here. And yellow, for anybody that knows the lime, this is what you're buying in the store. But that's not a ripe lime at all. That's a completely unripe lime. That doesn't fall from the tree. Do you see how it broke off the tree?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a ripe lime. They fall off the tree when they're yellow. That's when they're ripe. The grocery store sells you them unripe. Isn't that fascinating? Everybody thinks the lime is green. The lime is yellow, just like the lemon, but they pick it unripe. I don't know why, but that's the truth about it. They're yellow when they're ripe. This is a super medicinal food. If you ask me, far superior to the lemon. It's totally overlooked at the store. The only time people buy it is to throw it in their Corona or a little bit on their shrimp or fish, but otherwise it's completely overlooked. It's time you put the lemon down and you start getting a hold of these limes.
Okay, friends, family, what you're looking at here is a Hass avocado. This rough-skinned avocado doesn't come from nature. This was designed by a man named Rudolf Hass. You can research that. This is one of the most popular and common avocados on the market. So these are cheap, 2 for £1, because why? They have no nutrition inside them. They didn't come from nature. And if you eat these things, they will damage you. On top of that, this is what most guacamole is made from, most avocado oil is made from. So avoid these if you can.
So now you know exactly why you can go into a supermarket and the avocado could be $3. And then you can go back to that same supermarket a week later and they got a bucket of avocados, the bumpy ones, and they $2 for $1. You know exactly why now. Them bumpy ones aren't avocados, they're avocados.
Man, you corny!
So leave those alone if you can, because it's some fake stuff that somebody done dreamt up in the lab and feeding it to the masses now. But anyway, man, moving right on along, we're gonna take a trip to the meat department now. What exactly is in this meat that they feeding y'all?
This meat is bright red. That's because it's packaged with carbon monoxide and a few other gases, versus this meat is more of like a ruby red. This is kind of the color of meat. You do not want to eat carbon monoxide.
Yeah, well, that's disgusting.
See how this chicken says air chilled? That means it's not dunked in bleach, versus this chicken does because it contains up to 5% retained water.
That's very important what she just said. When you are buying your meat, check the package thoroughly and make sure it does not say any solution anywhere on the package. If it says contains up to a 5%, 10%, 15% solution, put that stuff back down on the shelf and run.
Girl, you better run!
You don't want anything with any solution in it. And if you think that you're just not going to eat chicken or beef and your problems are going to be solved, you're just going to eat fish your whole life. They even poisoned the fish.
All right, check this one out. This is crazy. Did you know that farmed salmon is not pink? It's actually gray. The reason for this is because it doesn't have the same diet as wild salmon, so it doesn't develop the pink pigment. And how does it get pink? The farmed salmon is fed a synthetic dye in its feed. And depending on where you live in the world, consumers want the pink to be certain shades. So the feed companies send out a colour chart to the salmon farmers and they can select what colour they want their fish to be. Now that's messed up.
Yo, where do you get the vote for the color of the salmon, man? Ain't nobody never asked me what color I wanted the salmon to be. Yo, hit me in the comments section, tell me where you from and what color do y'all like y'all salmon to be. Cause over here, we like ours to be like an orangish pink, but I be liking to see that dark red salmon. So my vote is gonna be for like a darker salmon, but I never got my ballot, man. I feel overlooked over here. But anyway, let's move out of the meat department. We done been in the meat department long enough. Let's move to the dairy department. What's exactly going on with these eggs? Because everybody was fighting for these eggs earlier in the year. They was paying $10 a dozen. What's exactly going on with these eggs?
Oh, it has recently come to my attention that besides what these two chickens ate, a lot of people do not understand the difference between the two. This one you can go buy at Costco. This is a farm fresh egg. Besides how these chickens were raised, besides their living conditions, besides what they consume to produce these eggs, can we talk about the processing process for a little bit? Because no one seems to be talking about this. This is the thing that I think about when I go to a grocery store and I walk past the eggs, and I don't buy them, but this is one thing I think about. In order for these eggs, like commercial eggs, to go on the shelf of the grocery store, they have to undergo a certain chemical chlorine wash, which removes the natural bloom. If you don't know what the bloom is still on this egg here because I haven't washed it off. It is a natural protective layer. It's a protective coating that God designed when he made chickens, that when they lay this egg, it is sealed off so that bacteria cannot enter the shell, because shells are porous. When you wash that bloom off, which is why we don't wash farm fresh blooms off, right? We leave it so we can leave them on our counter for weeks and weeks at a time, and it is completely shelf stable. But as soon as you remove that bloom, now it's susceptible. Now bacteria and things can enter the shell, and that's why you have to refrigerate it. So not only are you just putting more risk of bacteria getting into your egg, but it undergoes a chlorine chemical wash in order for it to be kosher with our food system. And then that is also getting inside the egg. And then you're touching it, and you're cracking it open, and it's getting in your food, and you're consuming it. Gross. As if we're not already consuming enough chemicals. I recently just had the conversation with a friend about it because we're both on the same page about how that's what we dislike most about eggs from the store. It's not even necessarily the facilities that they're in, the confinements, or how they're fed, yada yada, but it's more of just like the processing. I want to wash off my own eggs before I'm cooking them. I want to have the satisfaction of knowing that it has been protected the whole time by the God-given bloom that this egg has. You see everyone talking about what the chickens are fed and what they're eating and how much sunlight they're exposed to, but you don't see a lot of people talking about the bloom. Chlorine and chemical washes done in the industry, and just the general understanding of what's happening in the egg industry.
Now I know your belly's ready for some of this egg styrofoam. It's off the chain, baby.
So with that being said, it's a good chance that every one of us, if we an egg eater, we done ate several contaminated eggs in our lives, and we're just lucky that nothing has happened because the protective membrane has been stripped away and replaced with chemicals. And chemicals have seeped through the egg. So that hasn't helped us any. So the eggs are pretty much poison. Let's move on and see exactly what's going on with the butter, because we already know that a lot of the butter is just one chemical wall from plastic. Hope y'all know that. Margarine is one chemical wall from plastic, so hope you already know that, but that's not good enough. They want to take margarine to a whole new heights.
In the middle of an industrial park in a suburb west of Chicago, something unprecedented is happening.
So you're using this gas right now to like cook your food, and we're proposing that we would like to first make your food with that gas.
What? You better believe it. Their pioneering tech uses carbon and hydrogen to make the stick of butter you see on this plate.
Looks and tastes and feels exactly like dairy butter, but with no agriculture whatsoever.
So what is it made out of?
It's really just our fat, some water, a little bit of lecithin as an emulsifier, and some natural flavor and color.
Fats are made up of carbon and hydrogen chains. The goal here, replicate those chains without animals or plants. And they did it.
We don't want it. Return to sender.
So the actual little butter section of real butter, that section's small in the supermarket, and the margarine section is probably 3 times bigger than the actual butter section. When they add this new stuff, man, we're gonna have like 1 or 2 actual butter choices, and those are probably gonna be bought up by the big box chains and have some extra stuff in it. But let's keep pushing our cart. Let's keep moving right along through this supermarket. What about the cheese? What's going on with the cheese?
This is gonna burst your bubble, but if you eat cheese, you're gonna wanna watch this. One of the ingredients to make cheese is rennet. And oh, guess who's come in and taken over that process? The one, the only, Pfizer. Probably nothing, but a whopping 90% of cheeses sold in America uses a genetically modified version made from Pfizer. I don't want the word technology associated with my food or with my health at all. And again, just in case you missed it, yeah, read the bold for me. It's probably nothing. Why is biotech infiltrating with CRISPR technology? Okay. And I just want to give a shout out to these demons who have allowed it to be. So thank you, FDA. I trust you. Thank you for bringing bioengineered technology, gene-altering technology into our food industry. Thank you. I mean, the best thing, obviously, is that even though 90% of the North American cheese is made with this garbage, the ingredients label do not distinguish between. Of course, why would they? Why would they? Why would they? Oh wait. Oh, you think you're safe because you're a vegetarian? So if I'm craving cheese, which is like I might buy it 2 times a year, okay? I only buy 1 cheese because A, it's the highest content of protein in any cheese. B, it's not made in America. So that would be Parmigiano, okay? And I just want to highlight this real quick. Okay, Parmesan is a fake cheese made in America. You want Parmigiano, you want the G. If it doesn't have a G in it on the menu or on the label, do not put this garbage in your body. You want the Parmigiano from Italy. And one more thing. Just like Pringles aren't considered chips because they don't have the percentage of real potatoes to equate to a chip. Velveeta, surprise, surprise, is not technically a real cheese. So what are people eating? I can't. I mean, last thing I'll highlight. Are we surprised here? Profit over people. F these demons.
Since she was just talking about Pfizer, let's just pause. Let's just stop the cart right here in the middle of the dairy section, and let's get into how Big Pharma is trying to infiltrate the supermarket and trying to infiltrate your pantry.
Can you give me an example of a food that's a vaccine?
You recognize?
Yes, sir. University of California, Riverside has already perfected the ability to put human vaccines into our lettuce right now. Also tomatoes has the ability to do that also for UC Berkeley. And then Big Tobacco, RJ Reynolds and stuff has perfected the ability to put a human vaccine into tobacco products.
Chairman Clements.
And is that even legal to do in the state of Tennessee, to sell those with a vaccine in them?
You recognize?
Well, I'm not arguing that point. What I'm saying is there is no law deeming those that when you go into a grocery store, you should know as a consumer, this head of lettuce is a head of lettuce. The head of lettuce right next to it could contain a vaccine in it. All we're saying is if it does have the vaccine in it, make sure it's listed as a pharmaceutical so people can get the proper dosage.
You recognize?
Thank you. Well, my question is right now, can you walk into a grocery store and there be a head of lettuce for sale that has a vaccine in it? I don't think that's allowed under state law presently. And if it is, and you have to list it as a pharmaceutical, are we going to then have Walgreens pharmacists with a refrigerated section? I mean, how's this going to play out?
You're recognized.
Thank you. This is more of a consumer protection bill right here, is to make sure that if you're going in to buy tomatoes and there's a polio vaccine in there, that you are aware of what you're buying has a polio vaccine. The problem you have is if it's not treated as a pharmaceutical, being the size and difference between you and me, how many tomatoes do I have to eat to get the proper dosage versus how many tomatoes that you have to eat? And if you eat too many, do you get a overdose? If you eat too less, like we had in the cattle industry with Aeromycin, we weren't dosing our cattle properly and the horn flies were developing an immunity to it. If we don't have the proper dosage of a vaccine, it could lead to the efficacy of that drug not work anymore.
I got an easy solution for all of this. Why don't you just outright ban vaccines in food?
Duh.
If you outright ban vaccines in food, the testing, the trying, all of it, then we won't have any problems with this. The solutions be easy, but they don't want solutions. But anyway, let's keep on walking. Let's continue through the dairy section. What's going on with this milk?
I'm going to teach you guys how to look for real milk and the differences between real milk and fake milk. Make sure to bookmark this and share it with your friends. When you're buying milk, it's kind of like the egg deal. You can figure out where the milk came from by looking on here. So there's a lot of things here. Best by, used by. This is going to be the milk plant ID. And we can look that up on old Dr. Google and figure out where this milk came from. Today is October 17th. And this milk is used by December 10th. All the raw milk at my house is good for about 10 days to 2 weeks. And that's fresh straight from the cow within a day or two of it being milked. So we don't know when this milk came out of the cow. We're here in mid-October with milk that's good until mid-December. Yummy. People are like, oh, raw milk, you're going to drink raw milk and die. Amazing thing happens to our raw milk if we don't drink it within a couple of weeks. We leave it in the fridge. What it does, it turns into something that we call yogurt. It's what happens. The raw milk doesn't really rot. It just, all those natural cultures and enzymes that are in the raw milk that are part of what helps your body actually digest milk, those are what actually help the milk turn into cheese, cottage cheese, and cream cheese. The reason is this is ultra high temp pasteurized. So extremely high temp pasteurized, high temperature for a long time. So what's the difference in this? If you move your milk purchase over to local yokel, you're going to get low temp pasteurized. I'd love to sell you raw milk, but that's not legal in the state of Texas or any state. You have to go direct to the farm to buy raw milk. Our milk at local yokel is not raw milk, but it's low temperature pasteurized and it's not homogenized. So it means you still got to shake it up because the cream is on top. That makes it easier for your body to digest that milk. And a lot of people that are lactose intolerant, they're not lactose intolerant, they're ultra high temp homogenized intolerant. So this was one of my favorites right here. We now call it reduced fat milk. It used to be called skim milk. You know, you see 2% milk back in the day up until, the 60s, 70s. This is what they dumped in the bar ditch or fed to pigs because nobody wanted this. This means they've taken all the cream out of it to make butter, to make cheeses. They've taken everything good. So this was the trash. So some guys in the dairy industry got a great idea that they could market to America. They didn't want whole milk. You don't want real milk because we want to take all the value out of the milk, but instead of throwing it away, we want to convince the Americans they should buy it. And they'd be like, oh, it'll never work. They'll never fall for it. But you did.
Gotcha, bitch.
The key takeaway to look for: low temperature pasteurized, non-homogenized. You're going to see no RBHST. No one is using that particular drug, but you're going to see hormone-free, antibiotic-free. That's what you want to look for. Extreme regulations on antibiotics in the milk. Really don't really have to worry about antibiotics in your milk too much because that is heavily regulated. But the hormones that they use to keep these cows producing milk, that's what you want to look for to be able to be that you're completely hormone-free. Not just the one hormone that they're no longer using free, but free of all hormones to produce milk.
So they done got to the milk, man. They even out here selling fake milk. And I don't want to hear nobody in the comments section talking about that's why I drink almond milk, because almond milk might be worse than the fakest of the regular milk.
What they figured out with almond milk was, we can take leftover parts of almonds and the ones that are broken and unsightly, and we can use those to make milk. And it's just a few almonds and some canola oil and some high fructose corn syrup, some flavorings, and we blend it up and we sell it for like $8 as a health food product. It's not a health food product. So almond milk is high in phytic acid that sucks minerals out of your bones, so you have to take more minerals. And it's also high in oxalates, which are the things that are causing kidney stones and things that are causing gout and joint pain when you wake up. Even if you have really bad skin and you're eating a ton of these high oxalate foods like almond milk and kale smoothies, this can be why, because it's making tiny razor sharp calcium oxalate crystals in your skin that are coming out. So I don't recommend almond milk. Also, if you're a vegan for animals, the number of bees, about a third of all bees die pollinating almonds every year. Like it is not a particularly clean product.
Do you know why almond milk is called milk? Because no one can call it nut juice
and keep a straight face.
That's a great point, Granny, because I don't think nobody would be buying it, and that would be hard to market. That would be extremely hard to market. But another slash dairy product that's in the supermarket, this ice cream. What exactly is this ice cream?
So I heard there's something. And the premium ice cream that I usually buy was out of stock for this weekend. So this is Aldi's Sunday Shop brand. Accidentally left it in the back of my trailer from Friday night until late morning over the Labor Day weekend, late morning on Monday, and it did not melt. Like, what kind of chemical, disgusting wizardry is this?
What the hell is even that?
They got a whole aisle full of cold putty fluff. None of that stuff is ice cream anymore, man. Nobody's using actual cream. Or matter of fact, the way you could tell real ice cream is the ice cream that, I can't even say it's the $8, $9 ice cream because they be beating y'all in the head with the $8, $9 ice cream. So the ice cream is poison also. But I'm gonna ask y'all a question. What do y'all think this is a video of the production of?
This black, fermented sludge is what you pour all over your kids' food. It's brewed from a mix of rotting anchovies, sugar, and molasses, then left to sit for months. Inside, you've got potassium sorbate and sodium benzoate, the duo that causes mitochondrial damage, and people still slob on this gunk. I'm talking about Worcestershire sauce. One scan flagged it as 70% processed with traces of microplastics.
Oh. How many of my people out there use Worcestershire sauce? I can't even say it right. Worcestershire. I don't know. Hit me up in the comments section and let me know if you use the W sauce. But I think I'm going to pass. Pass. But I know one of my favorite things in the supermarket. I'm a pickle person. It's nothing like a crunchy pickle. And I told y'all before, man, I'm racist when it comes to my pickles. I need a white pickle, man. I'm sorry. If you a green pickle, I'm looking at you crazy, man. White pickles only. But anyway, man, I love a good pickle. But a lot of you people like those jarred green pickles that I was just talking about.
Ew.
Be careful when you eating those green pickles, man. You never know what they putting in them jars.
Where's my pickle lovers at? I'm gonna hurt your feelings a little bit here. Okay, so it says no artificial dyes on the top. So you think it's good, okay? And it's actually really hard to read the ingredients on this. Cucumbers, water, vinegar, no big deal. Calcium chloride, polysorbate 80. Okay, I'm gonna stop there. What does polysorbate 80 do? It opens the blood-brain barrier. So the blood-brain barrier is there to keep things from going into your brain. It opens that. So if we're opening that and consuming things that are toxic or anything we shouldn't, guess what? Where's it gonna go? You should never be consuming polysorbate 80 is where I'm going. And for some reason, they're putting it in pickles. I don't need to read any other ingredients besides that to know no to our Vlasic friends.
Now, don't get it confused. Don't get it jacked up. The supermarket sells a whole lot more than just fruits, vegetables, dairy, food. It sells, household cleaning items also. Your laundry detergent, your dish detergent. And a lot of that stuff is just as toxic as the food.
Whoa, what's in that Blue Dawn dish detergent? This is the platinum and regular Blue Dawn dish. Everyone knows what this stuff smells like. It kind of sticks around on the pan even after you've washed it a million times. I'm not a huge fan. Don't like the flavor. I think it stays in my food. I just can't get rid of it. Anyways, let's figure out what it is. All right, so I've been experimenting on Headspace GC. That's what these are. These are our Headspace GC containers using sparkling water to get better volatilization rather than flat water. And the water I've been choosing is this Saratoga Spring sparkling water. Like a perfect carbonated water. Super clean to use for this. A little bit goes a long way. Let's give it a go. On on to the Headspace GC, position 3 and 4. All right, Dawn dish detergent. This is the regular blue Dawn, and this is the Dawn Platinum off the Headspace GC. All right, so if you remember, I put CO2 in there. I put some sparkling water, and so that's what this big blob in the front is that's the CO2 carrier gas. I think that helps volatilize the small stuff. So when you zoom in to more of our analytical zone for flavors and fragrances, then we get really good sharp peaks. It is limonene, so it's a lemony flavor. So dominant flavor in the Platinum. I mean, it seems like they contain pretty much the same flavoring fragrance ingredients, but different levels ever so slightly. And then in the regular Dawn, it's this ortho-tert-butyl cyclohexyl acetate, and I know this molecule already. Better known as Verdox or green acetate. I've seen this before in a bunch of other cleaning products and fragrance products. So it's got this, it's tert-butyl, right? So there's the T-butyl cyclohexyl acetate. That's the tert-butyl group. That's a really sticky group. And it also probably gives it some heat stability. And so my guess is even if this ester pops off, you're still gonna have a flavor or a smell, and that's my guess is that's what's sticking to your pan. Video on YouTube if you want the whole thing. All right.
It might not be a thing in the supermarket that's not toxic than a mofo, but anyway, that brings me to the next thing on our list in the supermarket, and it's not really a particular item. It's an ingredient, but it's an important ingredient because it's in probably 90% of all the items in the supermarket. That was the production of sugar.
This is the amount of blood in your body. This is the amount of sugar your bloodstream can handle at any given time. And this is the amount of sugar the average American eats every single day. Sugar in the brain is called dementia. Sugar in the pancreas and bloodstream is called type 2 diabetes. Sugar in the skin is called aging. Sugar in the liver is fatty liver disease. Sugar in the heart is cardiovascular disease. And sugar in the kidneys is kidney failure. Friends, your body isn't the problem. The overload is. Balance your blood sugar and you can change the entire story.
I told you at the beginning of this video, ignorance is bliss when it comes to food. Now that you know every time that you go into the supermarket that you are poisoning yourself. Everything in there is poison. So the whole boycott Campbell's, that don't even matter. That comes down to just limiting risk where you can and trying to make the wisest decisions that you can. And in order to do that, you're going to have to be up to date and more informed on what you're eating and what the process is to get it to the shelf in the supermarket to get it to you. It pretty much seems like at this stage in the game that the only thing that is healthy for you is some water. Oh. Huh? Dag y'all, the water bad too.
Stop drinking just pure water. It may sound healthy, but it's not. It actually dehydrates you. When you drink pure water with zero minerals, you dilute your blood and you pull minerals out of your cells. Instead of hydrating, you are dehydrating. Hydration is not just about water. It is also about electrolyte balance. Your body needs sodium, potassium, and magnesium to absorb the water. So here's what you should do at home. Add a pinch of sea salt or Himalayan salt and a little bit of baking soda and a squeeze of lime or lemon into your drinking water. This is a natural electrolyte drink you can make without the fake colors and the fake sugar. And bonus tip, most of your water should come from structured water. This means water and hydration from fruits, from coconut water, and from soups and bone broths. This is the kind of hydration that actually fuels your body and penetrates your cells. So stop chugging gallons of empty water and start hydrating properly from now on.
Dang, we can't even have water sandwiches for dinner?
And here we go. I hope you're hungry for nothing.
Man, it's a cruel world right now, man. That's why from the beginning of this whole YouTube journey, I've been trying to encourage people to start their own garden. I even did a whole little garden vlog this summer. I don't know why I didn't put it up. But yeah, see my little garden popping. I try to do what I can where I can. I got a little herb garden, little garden in the back, and I try to grow as many peppers, onions, tomatoes, a couple watermelons. Always had the herbs growing, the rosemaries, the green onions, the basils, and just try to limit my risk where I can, because even that stuff is breathing in the city air. So, you know, it is what it is. You just gotta have to try to maneuver. And like I said, stay away from the processed foods, the oils. Find a way to get the wax off your apples. If you're going to buy apples, make sure you rinse your any produce that you get from the supermarket thoroughly, because they might have that Evermax or whatever that was on there. Just gonna have to be more aware, man. Just gonna have to be more aware. So hit me up in the comments section and let me know the things that you found in the supermarket. You know, share with the community if I missed anything. And this video is going to end like all the other videos. Hit me up in the comments section and tell me how you feel about everything you have just witnessed.
Tell me how you felt about what just happened there.
And if you made it to this point in the video, you are my MVP.
It was a stone groove, my man.
I'm out of here.
The most dangerous food in your kitchen isn't ice cream, bacon, or even gluten. It's something you use almost every day, something that builds up in your liver, your brain, and your nervous system. It's full of hexane, a solvent also found in gasoline. This substance is rancid, oxidized, and acts like rust inside your body. It can take up to 2 years to be fully eliminated, and the more you cook with it, the more toxic it becomes. It produces byproducts that attack your tissues, worsen inflammation, and over time can lead to internal scarring and fibrosis. It's linked to chronic fatigue, brain fog, sleep problems, and inner restlessness. And yet, most people don't even think about it because this food hides in plain sight. It disrupts your hormones, drains your energy, and keeps you in a constant state of stress. We're talking about industrial seed oils, corn oil, soybean oil, canola oil, cottonseed oil, sunflower oil. These highly processed oils are found in almost everything today, from protein bars to salad dressings. Many are extracted using hexane, a chemical solvent your body cannot process. These oils accumulate in your tissues, cause silent inflammation, and throw your entire system out of balance.